Let me ask you
I
about
would be glad to do that.
another issue that I raised with you earlier, and this is regarding support for tribal justice programs. In the FY18 budget, we were able to include a funding stream for Victims of Crime Act funds for tribes. It's a set-aside, it's a 5% set-aside, it's about $130 million to help for victims on tribal lands. We had completed a study in Alaska. Well, actually, it was a broader study. It was a 2016 study from the National Institute of Justice. More than 4 out of 5 Alaska Native and American Indian women report having experienced violence in their lifetime. More than half report having experienced sexual violence in their lifetime. Nearly 40% have experienced violence in the past year, 14% who have experienced sexual violence in the last year. Our statistics when it comes to Alaska Native women and American Indian women are horrible when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to the sexual assault. And so I think that we're making a small step forward with this small set-aside, and first time ever to see anything going towards those on tribal lands and in Alaska where we have different issues in the sense of not having Indian country, but a recognition that we must address this. So 5%, I would like to see that increased. I would hope that we'd be able to work with the Department of Justice to address this issue, because we have not made a difference in reducing these horrible statistics.
Senator Murkowski, thank you actually for raising that. I heard that before I was confirmed. You and I talked about it. I've traveled the country meeting with U.S. attorneys. I hear it a lot in their districts. I just came back from Albuquerque, and we talked about the Navajo tribal lands and the problems that they have. This budget, the president's budget, actually is frugal compared to, it's a frugal budget, but it has more for tribal issues than the even your 2018 budget. And it does it the way you suggested, through set-asides. A 7% set-aside is recommended for the Office of Justice programs. All those programs, 7% would be set aside for tribal individuals, and 5% of the Crime Victims Fund. I believe the Congress has not yet got to those numbers, but I do agree with you that it is a very difficult situation, and Alaska has a particularly unusual situation without having specific tribal lands that receive specific funds from the government. So I would be glad to continue to work with you on it.
Good, and that's why so many of these funds, whether it's the burn grants, the VAWA funding, the DNA backlog, the Victims of Crime Act, the Crimes Against Children, all of these grant fund opportunities are so significant for us. So
I did
put that on your list.
Okay, I would note that just yesterday, I had a meeting with your United States Attorney here in D.C., Brian Schroeder. He's on my 15-member Attorney General's Advisory Committee, and he and U.S. Attorney from Oklahoma, Northern Oklahoma, chair the subcommittee on Indian Affairs, and we both talked about this specifically. They would like to see us do some things better than we have in the past. They're providing strong leadership, and I know he'd be glad to share his thoughts with you or your staff.
Good. They're good guys. Thank you.